Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse, and you are our Patreon supporters.
They know who they are. You keep telling them every week, but they know.
Hey, you're here. You're part of this show. Okay, so like, we almost need like
Pull
a
up a
closer
seat.
camera. I need to like
Can we get them?
grab it, and just like, pull us in.
Can we get them a couch?
Sure.
Like a bunch of couches?
There's no room in this room for a couch. I just want you to know there used to be a couch actually in this room.
That's right.
And we
had to get rid of
removed
it
because it
to make
was
room for you.
in the way of the camera.
All right, so
Thank
this
you
is
so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting us.
Yes.
Let's get down
Let's
to
get
business.
into it. All right, so this story has some graphic stuff to it, so you can cut ahead to this time code if you don't want to see the graphic stuff. It's about whales and plastic that they eat. So if you're having your breakfast right now,
Right.
I maybe suggest you skip ahead to this time code.
Yep.
All right, so here it is.
So thin from so much plastic that it's trying to digest and it can't digest it. So literally these little scrippies are like little needles.
First of all, thank you to the people out there in the world who do this, because I think I would pass out if I had to reach into a whale's stomach and pull anything out. So thank you for doing that. It's a depressing job. It's something that has to be done. I mean, 88 pounds of plastic were removed from the stomach of this juvenile Cuvier-beaked whale, which died of gastric shock after swallowing all of that plastic. It was bags and rice bags, and this was in the Philippines. And I mean, I know there's plastic out in the oceans. I just graphically couldn't picture that it was doing this. I mean, it's
And
just
this is large pieces of plastic. Like this is recent waste. The older plastic waste gets in the ocean, the smaller and smaller it breaks down, and it means that even smaller things can swallow them. Right? A regular sized fish can't go up and swallow a giant plastic bag. A whale obviously can. But it really goes to show like just how polluted our oceans are and how it's going to have an effect on the animals that live in our oceans. And, you might be like, who cares? It's just a bunch of water. But it takes, the oceans are the largest
No, that's a really
part
good
of
point.
our surface area of the earth.
There's plenty of people out there who don't care if it doesn't affect them. But you know what? What you can tell those people, because I know you guys do care, what you can tell them is, okay, you don't care, but you probably eat some kind of seafood. You probably eat some tuna fish sandwich or something like that. What do you think those tuna were eating?
Right.
They were eating some other smaller fish. And what do you think they were eating?
Right.
They were eating this microplastic. So guess what? Your tuna fish has microplastic in it. You just ate plastic yourself.
Right.
So even if you don't care about the marine life itself, do you care about yourself and your family's health? That's what I'm talking about here. And what's so powerful about showing animals that ingest this, I know it's disgusting, but when you see seabirds and fish and dolphins and whales, I hope if you're a human, you get a little verklempt, you get a little caught up and you go, oh my God, we have to stop this. It is one of the most powerful ways to get other people to see that we have to do something about it. And it's not that hard. It's just that we're ignoring it at the moment and treating our oceans as basically just huge dumpsters.
Right.
We're just like, oh, we could pay a few bucks to do it right, or we could just throw it in the ocean.
Right. And I mean, you have to keep in mind that like I'm not going to say that it's hard to throw plastic away in the ocean. It's very easy, but you have to be by the ocean and you have to just throw it, right? It's that.
Right.
And it's that level. And I think that because we are all affecting this earth, it'd be one thing if there were like just these big freaking dividers that went across the earth and the ocean, just there would be a line and there'd be this big fence and nothing would be able to penetrate either side of it, and it'd be like, oh cool, our side of the fence is greener,
Right.
We made everything clean. It is not that way. There is no, you can have as many international borders as you want. The trash doesn't care. It doesn't go through customs.
No.
Right? It's not sitting there filling out paperwork in order to get into your ocean.
And to that point, I mean, I really do think that in the near future, at the UN level, we're going to have to actually regulate this to the point where we're willing to, give sanctions to countries that keep polluting because they're not just polluting their own waters, which is horrible enough. They're polluting the world's oceans.
And it didn't used to be this way. There just used to not be enough people on the planet
to make a difference.
It'd be like, you'd throw something away and you'd never see it again. It'd be in the wilderness. And
well, and it wasn't plastic. I mean, up until the last 100 years or so, if you threw away an old axe, the handle would wear down and the axe would rust, and that would be the end of that.
Right.
But no, now it's plastic, so you throw that away and they're going to find it in 500 years.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's go to this video. It's been all over the internet for so long, and we're like, well, let's just show it.
It is electric. It can be recharged at stations in a fully solar way. It's an extraordinary vehicle, but it's a tenth of the price of a light rail. Now this is a major breakthrough, and I would predict that hundreds of cities are rapidly going to demonstrate this.
All right, so it's a trackless train.
Trackless tram, basically.
Right. I mean, it looks like a trolley, but it runs on asphalt, and it just is reading the lines. And basically, because it's so smooth, I mean, you know how normal tracks feel on a train, right? But this is so smooth. And also, you know that if there's a problem in a city where you have to reroute, you can't reroute a train. Whereas this, I suppose, you just draw some new lines and reprogram, and you can run the train differently.
It is cool. It's cool that it's battery electric. I think that it is throwing away some efficiency. On rails, it's really efficient because you're metal on metal contact. There's almost no rolling resistance. And as soon as you go to a rubber tire, you have rolling resistance. It's about as bad as a car, so it's not the end of the world. And if it's electrically driven, who cares?
What's the difference between this and a bus, though, an electric bus? Like, I mean, why not? Why are we having to go to this technology?
It's apparently smoother. I don't see how it could be smoother. You know, they're showing it on perfect roads, but if there's potholes, really, what kind of magic suspension is there, and why don't I have it?
Good point.
I mean, come on.
What 3 words?
I don't know. What 3 words?
Yeah, so check this out. It's a cool website. What 3 words? You can find any 3 meter by 3 meter square on Earth and designate it with just 3 words.
Okay.
Now, when I first saw this, I couldn't wrap my head around it. And in fact, I was going to ignore the story, except that I saw that Ford is now implementing this into their navigation system. So I was like, okay, let me re-examine this. What's cool about this is that if I were to tell you that I wanted to meet you tonight and I gave you an address somewhere in the city, I'd have to be standing like right where that address worked on Google Maps for you to find me.
And yeah, because I mean, it's just for a building or a parcel of land or something like that. And so, yeah, it doesn't usually render an exact spot.
And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine in China. He lives in Shanghai, and he goes to school at a university. And when he's ordering food there, which is a very common thing to do in China, he has to give the address of the university, which is a giant campus.
No, it's
and
true.
So
right,
then you have to then tell them like in a
it's
text,
over here.
Right.
It's by that building.
And they're
that
constantly
looks that way.
not finding you. So with this, with what 3 words, you would put in the 3-word designation of exactly what square you were in. They would know exactly what square you were in. And it would be easier to use than, let's say, GPS, which is a long string of numbers that you can easily get wrong. And if you get one of those numbers wrong, you end up in a different country.
It's interesting. I mean, the problem here, I think, is that it's all English words.
Well, that's actually not true.
Oh?
In China, it's 3 Chinese words.
Interesting. But now if you're visiting China, it's going to be confusing for you.
True. I think they're working on the language part of it. So I mean, it's a work in progress, but it's an interesting concept, and I think we're actually probably going to see something like this working into our navigation systems because of that problem we all seem to have, which is
it's like no, I'm here.
Right.
I'm over here. Where are you? I don't know. I don't see you. Interesting. And this doesn't have a lot to do with sustainability, but I think it is interesting enough to. I mean, we wanted to tell you guys about it.
Well, yeah, and it does in a way because I mean, all these technological changes, they're all interwoven now. I mean, just like we were talking about AI, text writing and speech writing.
It's true.
It all works together.
It's all getting a bit a bit tighter. The grid of information is getting a bit
Yeah. Well, and
higher thread count.
Well, here's how I think we can fit these stories together. This next story is about the Shanghai Giga update. What you're seeing here is drone footage of the Gigafactory and its recent progress, and it looks like it's actually making quite good progress. We're seeing looks like the pile drivers are gone, which is amazing, and now we're seeing some footings and some concrete pads. We're seeing some concrete pads, but here's the thing. If you go to try and find this, let's say in Google, you're relying on whether or not someone has
labeled it the Tesla Shanghai Gigafactory.
Right.
Whereas, the what 3 words, it would just
And if we wanted to talk about a particular thing going on in this parcel, if I wanted to say look at that pile driver over there, I could give you the what 3 words for it, and we could all be talking about the same thing. So I'm going to put this out to you guys. Find this for me with what 3 words?
Ooh, okay. Put it in the comment section down below. That's fun.
We'll see who's the most accurate. It's time for Model 3 Tip of the Week. You guys get to see it first before everyone else, and everyone gets to see it on Wednesday. You get to see it on Monday. We're going to be doing Thief Buster, so let's do our intro.
All right.
Hey, everybody. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching the Model 3 Tip of the Week. What did we do this week?
This week, we did kind of a different thing. We were trying to bust thieves, car thieves, people who steal your car. So the Model 3 has a speed limiting system that you can do for your children, right? So if your children are driving the car and you don't want them driving 150 miles an hour down the highway, you can limit the speed to something practical, say 60 or 55, whatever the speed limit is.
Okay.
And then they can only go the speed limit
That's
or
nice.
whatever speed you determine.
What does that have to do with busting thieves?
Well, you can set it whenever the car is parked.
Okay.
And so this kind of gave me the idea of Thief Buster mode, right? We have Sentry mode, Thief Buster mode.
Let's check it out.
All right, so I'm going to pretend to steal my own car. I'm going to start driving away using the key card. I'm going to disconnect my phone just so that way the car doesn't know that the phone that is controlling it is also slowing it down, if that makes any sense. That way it'll be a better simulation of me standing there on the curb with no car, realizing that my car is now driving away from me at a high rate of speed. I can call the police, say, hi, I know where my car is, it's being stolen, and I want to see if I can limit myself. The minimum speed limit for speed limit mode is 50 miles an hour. I'm going to see if I can limit myself to 50 miles an hour, which means that a high-speed chase now becomes a mid-speed chase. So let's see how it goes. All right, so I'm pulling onto the highway now as the thief. So the thief is now in a high-speed pursuit or something like that. So I'm going to switch it over to controls. I'm going to go to speed limit mode. I can't switch speed limit mode. So I can't
do it while you're driving.
After the car has been stolen. But now I want to test one other thing. I can't adjust anything. Okay, so it's off. All the controls.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's pull off at the next exit, as if the thief was stopping to get a soda.
Yeah, all right.
And see if when he puts it in park, if you can do it.
I suppose so.
Let's try it.
Okay.
It's all about science.
All right, so now the thief has pulled off. He's going to get a soda, I guess.
So we put it in park.
It's now in park. So now I pull up my app. I can lock it at 55. So I have to create a 4-digit PIN. Now I have speed limit mode active. So now the car is already in chill. That's an interesting feature. So, I mean, this feature was designed for teenagers, for when they're driving. Basically, it's to prevent them from speeding and doing anything crazy. So the car is now in chill. All the other controls are going to be blocked except for unlocking the car. So that doesn't help anything.
And what about valet mode?
That's a good question. Yeah, you could put it into valet mode. So, I mean, the dead giveaway is already that you're in chill. And so then, if I wanted to change, if I wanted to say get out of chill, I can't because speed limit mode is enabled. There's nothing else that they would really be able to have access to that would enable them anything else. All right, so now let's get on the highway and see what's going on. So you can actually see that it's limiting my acceleration as well, right here with those dots. So it's actually letting the would-be thief know that they're not gonna have full acceleration. All right, so I'm about to pull onto the highway. It's in chill mode. And I mean, so chill mode limits the acceleration. It kind of smooths out the entire drive, which if you're in a high-speed chase is probably not what you want. And it's also limiting the speed. So I'm a little worried because I'm about to pull onto a highway where the speed limit is 55, which means that everyone's driving 60 or 70 miles an hour, and I'm going to be speed limited to 50 for an entire exit. So yeah, we're going to see how that goes. I'm a little nervous. Definitely staying in the right lane. But I mean, if you were the thief, you wouldn't necessarily know that you were in speed limit mode. Oh,
That would scare you.
oh, I'm stuck. I've the pedal to the metal right now.
Oh.
Pedal is all the way down, and I'm stuck at 50 miles an hour.
Oh,
if you were a thief, you would be very embarrassed right now, as the police were just behind you and in front of you and all around you. This is so scary. If you're afraid that your car is going to get stolen, first of all, there are many different steps that you can take to avoid it. First of all would be pin to drive. That would be your first one. Let's say that someone saw your pin to drive. They know what your pin to drive is. The next thing you could do would be that every time you leave the car and before you start driving, you set it to speed limit mode to 50. This would mean that if anyone stole your car, they would be doing this. They would be driving 50 on whatever highway it was. This is honestly embarrassing. Like, I'm going 49, that's not even fair.
Well, and this is a rainy day where other drivers might be driving a little bit
Right,
slower.
if this were a nice day, people would, want to kill me. So, I mean, you might just have your thief stopped by normal citizens, and road rage. So, this sort of gets me into an idea. If you can already limit the speed of your car, it seems like you could have a thief shutdown mode, which would require probably a couple different things. I think it should probably require you entering a PIN, and then Tesla calling you, and then they, confirming that the car has been stolen either through the, police or something. There should be a few steps. It shouldn't be just anyone with your app can turn this on. But basically, what I think it should do is it starts speed limiting the car. It just starts bringing down the speed, and it just continues to bring it down to about probably 5 miles an hour. And hopefully by that time you've called the police, you've told them exactly where your car is, because I mean, keep in mind, the whole time you know exactly where your car is. You can see exactly where I am. You can see how fast I'm going. This is real-time data. You can see that the GPS and the Tesla point are basically lined up exactly. So you have a real-time map of where your Tesla is, so you can say to the police, oh, he's on Groton Road. He's heading southwest on Groton Road at 33 miles an hour, and you can start naming street names, whatever. You can tell the police everything that they need to know. So, I mean, another thing that it could be doing is saying, lots of different things on the screen. It could be saying, like, the police know your location, they are on their way, Tesla knows your location. At that point, you want to kind of minimize the damage to the car, so I don't know if you want to tell them that you're being video recorded, because, I mean, it'd be very easy for them to look around, try and find the camera, and either smash that, or just start smashing up your car because they're so mad that they're about to get caught by the police. So I don't think that you want to really incite them into doing anything dangerous to your car. I think you want them to just get out of your car at that point, right? You want them to stop on their own volition and just maybe flee. You've already probably got a good picture of their face, so you may as well try to get them to leave your car alone. Anyway, this is a way that you don't have to have a steering wheel lock. It's just a digital way to make your car that little bit more secure. So I think that's pretty interesting. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Now you know.
Wait, so you're telling me that Tesla could implement this as like a new, like Sentry mode or Dog mode? They could have Thief Buster mode, trademark, and you could then keep a thief from being able to escape because basically, like you said, it would slow down to zero and he'd be stuck, and the police could get him.
Right.
I love it.
There's many different ways to implement it well.
Yeah.
Right. You could either have it so that the police slow the perp down, or it all depends on how you're going to actually implement this, because it is a little scary if it was actually just your brother borrowed your car for a day and you had no idea, and suddenly he's like slowing down on a bridge somewhere.
So there could be brother-in-law mode or something like.
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe you actually get a view into your car. I mean, there is an interior camera, and if you're like, who is that? I have no idea. That's not my grandmother.
Right.
It's an idea.
I love it. Tweet it at Elon.
Yeah. So you guys, watching this, tweet it at Elon if you think it's a good idea. If you don't think it's a good idea,
don't tweet it.
Tell us about it in the comment section down below. Right. Why it's a bad idea and why it's going to get people killed.
Give us some comments below about what you want to see on Model 3 Tip of the Week, so we can do it. Thanks so much for watching.
Now you know.
All right, everybody, we're going to head back to the show. Thank you again for being awesome.
yeah, we can't do this show without you, any of it at all. So we're going to go back. We're going to do some Patreon shout outs. I don't know how many of you people watched the end, of this. It's like a small subsection of a subsection, probably talking like a handful of people. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. All right.
See ya.
Bye.